Reception, so it's time for your topic for Friday. Today we're going to be learning all about plants. We're going to start with the different parts of a plant, which is for your topic work today. And then we'll move on to what a plant needs to grow, which is part of your literacy task for today. So let's get started. Plants have different parts to them, just like you do. So whereas we have arms, legs, and a mouth, a plant has got different parts too, and every part does a different job. They have roots. The roots of a plant anchor the plant in the ground, so it keeps it in the ground, because without them, the plant would just fall over. Roots also take in all the nutrients and water from the soil. So can you see where the roots are on this plant? Yeah, underneath the soil, underneath the bean. And then as the bean sprouts through the soil, the roots stay under the soil. And that's why we put water on the soil when we planted our beans, so the roots could suck up all the nutrients. There we go, and there's the roots. It also has a stem. The stem helps to keep the plant upright, and it carries water up from the roots, so it passes it on. So the roots suck up the water and it travels up through the stem. Can you see where the stem is on this flower? Yeah, it's that green stem in the middle, keeping it upright. And they'll also have leaves. Leaves are very important because they make the food for plants. Leaves are made to catch the sunlight because plants need sunlight to make their own food. And leaves come in all different shapes and sizes, and some leaves come in different colours. So on this beanstalk, can you see that there's an arrow pointing to where the leaves are? There we go. And finally, the flower or the petal. So flowers and petals look very pretty and they come in lots of different colours, and they can also smell lovely. And the colours are really important, and the smells, because that's what attracts the bees and the birds and the butterflies, and those insects and animals help the plants to make seeds or fruit. So very important. So they are the 4 different parts of a plant, and that will be your topic task today. So now let's move on to what things a plant needs. So let's test your knowledge. Can you remember the different parts of the plant and what each part does? So let's have a look. So the flower and petal were used to attract insects. What about the leaves? Can you remember what the leaves did? There, they turn sunlight into food, so they catch the sunlight and then they make food for the plant. What about the stem? Yeah, upright like a soldier. So the stem carries water around the plant, but it also holds the plant up. And then what about the roots? The roots suck up the water and the nutrients from the soil. Fantastic. Your topic work will be brilliant today. So let's have a look at this plant here. Does it look healthy? Why do you think that? Explain your answer to your grown-up. Pause the video. So what did you think? Did it look healthy? No, it doesn't look healthy. And that's because this plant hasn't had all the things it needs to be a healthy plant. It needs water, it needs to be in the right temperature, and it needs light. And that is what a plant needs to grow and be healthy. So water. Plants need water for lots of different reasons. So like we did when we first planted our seed, we needed to add water to help the seed start to grow. And then, like we learned about the roots and the stem, the plant needs the water to suck up the nutrients from the soil. And nutrients are really good things in the soil, which will help the plant get nice and healthy. And the leaves of a plant need water to help turn the sunlight into food. So all of those things we learned about the parts of a plant, they would work much better with water. And whereas you should try to drink 5 glasses of water a day, plants need lots of water too. But how do we know what's the right amount of water? Because although plants do need water, it's very important that they get the right amount. If they don't have enough water, the plant will die. But if they have too much water, they might also die. And to know what is the right amount of water, you need to know about your plant. For example, lavender and sage don't need a lot of water, but irises and hydrangeas need lots of water. So if you ever buy a packet of seeds from the shop, it will always tell you on the packet how much water it needs. But if you're still unsure, we can always do research. We can look on the internet, we can look into books. So when your plant, your wildflower, begins to grow, you can do some research and figure out how much water your wildflower needs. Plants also need light. We need light to keep healthy because our bodies make something called vitamin D from sunlight, and that helps us make something called calcium, which makes our bones nice and strong. And that's why plants need light too, to make them nice and strong. Because leaves turn sunlight into food for the whole plant, without light, a plant won't be healthy. So if you put a plant in a really dark place, like a cupboard, you would notice that as the plant grows, it will grow in the direction of the cupboard door because it's trying to find light. And at first, yeah, the plant might grow taller, but it'll be really thin. And that's because the plant is putting all its energy into growing nice and tall to try and find some light. The leaves of the plant will start to go yellow because the only reason leaves are green is because they have a chemical in them which helps turn the sunlight into food. So if they don't have any light, they can't make the food, and then the leaves will lose their colour. So although the plant will continue to grow at first, it will eventually die. So have a look at these 2 plants. So with your grown-up, can you work out which plant grew in the light and which plant grew in the dark? Pause the video. Which one did you choose? I chose number 1. I chose the first one. Let's find out. Yes, this plant was grown in the light, and I can see that because it's got nice green leaves and a lovely flower, whereas the other plant did not grow in the light. It was in the dark, and it's starting to go yellow. Finally, plants need temperature. So pause the video and explain to your grown-up what you think the word temperature means. Temperature means how hot or cold something is. So when you're poorly, you might have a thermometer to check your temperature. And if the temperature outside is hot, you wouldn't go outside wearing a coat. You'd get really hot and really sweaty, and it wouldn't make you feel very nice. And if the temperature was really cold, if it was snowing outside, you wouldn't go out in flip-flops and a t-shirt because that would make you super duper cold. And again, it would make you feel really poorly. So it's really important that we are always in the right temperature to keep healthy. And that's the same as plants. Plants need the right temperature to stay healthy too. And different plants need different temperature. For example, a cactus lives in the desert, so it's always in hot temperature. So that's what it needs. Whereas daisies, they need cooler temperatures to grow and be healthy. And that's why in England, where we live, we see lots of daisies because it's not very often that England gets super hot. So, can you remember everything a plant needs to grow and be healthy? Pause the video and tell your grown-up, what can you remember? Let's check. Plants need water, but not too much. Plants need light. And plants need the right temperature. Brilliant. So your two tasks today, your topic is going to be to label the 4 different parts of a plant. And then on your daily learning sheet, it will show you what your literacy task is linked to this video. Don't forget to send me photos and videos of your topic and literacy work today. And you can always re-watch this video if you are unsure.